Hey, welcome back. It is time for better food. How appropriate, given that my co-host today is a chef.
It works, right?
Yes.
It's kind of like double duty. I'm with that. It's fine.
I love it.
Now,
All right.
Do you cook a lot at home?
Sometimes.
Sometimes,
yeah.
Like once a week, twice a week?
Yeah, like I try to stretch my meals,
Okay,
you know?
I get it. I get it. It's that time of year for gardening, and this, especially in Connecticut, like right now, is like the beginning of the prime garden season.
So good.
I'll tell you what,
fresh veggies and fruit.
Unbelievable. Tomatoes are one of my favorite things. They're starting to come out now. It's running a little behind because we had a little cold spell a little bit later in the season.
All that rain too, did that?
Yeah. Absolutely, totally affects it. You get too much rain, totally affects it. But right now, what we're getting in my garden is tons of squash and zucchini.
Me too.
I love those. Are you a fan of those?
I love it.
Oh man, those are some of my favorite things to cook. They're so versatile. So many things you can do with them. But what happens is usually 2 weeks after having them, you're cutting them, you're sautéing them, you're roasting them, you're grilling them. You start running out of ideas.
Then you're bored.
Yeah, it starts to get old, right?
Yeah.
Well, check this out. I have a great dish that we're gonna make right now. We're gonna take some zucchinis, and squash works too. This is straight from the garden this morning, right? And we're gonna stuff this with an amazing stuffing and cheese and make a whole meal out of it.
I love it.
That's what I
was just telling you before we, in our meeting before the show this afternoon, I just stuffed squash yesterday.
Yeah, you did, right?
Yeah.
What'd you put in it?
So it's a Lebanese dish, actually, and it's ground beef, rice, and tomatoes, basically.
Oh, it sounds great.
Delicious.
I love all those things. Anything you could put like into a little, like one device to deliver it to you. I love that kind of a meal.
Easy.
You know, you could put it all, like take all of it, put it in here, then eat it. That's fantastic. All right. So I'm gonna see how you cook. I've never cooked with you. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
So
are you ready?
here we go. I'm gonna show you how we're gonna do this. This is really easy. I have my knife right here. So what I want to do is just take these ends off right here. And remember, this is like a little PSA for everybody. A sharp knife is way safer than a dull knife. Okay? A sharp knife means you use less force, right?
Yep.
Where a dull knife, you use more force, which means less control.
Okay.
So really important to have a sharp knife. Now go ahead and split that down the middle for me too. Or that way too, that works well.
Oh, middle?
Yeah,
This
just
way.
like that. Yeah, horizontally down, and then we're gonna do what you just did. But here's why I want you to do this way, because look, now you have a flat edge, right?
Yep.
So now you can cut flat without it rolling everywhere. Beautiful. Now let's cut the other side too. Let me turn up my heat here a little bit. Yeah, this is one of my favorite dishes to do. So just drop it down. You can see, so just take this squash, a zucchini, and cut it into quarters. Now what I want you to do is we're gonna take it and put it right into this water. This is just some boiling water, and we're gonna like blanch these guys. We're just gonna bring them up to temperature, start to where they get soft. And when they get soft, we can then take the seeds out of it.
Okay.
The filling that we're making here, I'm using ground chicken right now because that's what I had, and I've been using. It
smells really good.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
And so in here is that ground chicken, right? I've got a little bit of garlic. I chopped up one garlic clove and threw it in there, a little olive oil. And this is not rocket science here. This is super easy to do.
Can't go wrong with garlic, though.
Yeah. And then I use a little seasoning from my friends over at Spiceology right here. This is a great spice right here. Spiceology is a fantastic company. This stuff is so delicious. It's made by chefs for chefs. So I mean, you get some spices from big companies. They've been ground like
so that's
10 years ago. Unbelievably fresh. Yes, absolutely.
Little lemony, peppery kind of thing.
Yeah, this is the
on.
lemon and pink peppercorn with thyme. It's delicious in here. So I added about a teaspoon or so of that into here, mixed it up, and found I need a little more, so I put a little more into it.
But that's the whole fun about cooking, right? Is that you can kind of like snack as you go and taste it and make sure that you like what you got going on.
I mean, clearly I don't snack at all. So ever, no snacking.
I would never have guessed. To be honest.
It's a little hurtful, Caitlin. I thought we were making friends.
We are. We're best friends. That's why I'm being. All right,
we've got the garlic in there. We got the chicken in there. A little olive oil, and then you can pour a pinch of white wine to kind of glaze the pan.
Getting fancy.
Oh yeah, or just a little water. Just a little bit of water, right? And then what I want to do is, as this is getting nice and warm in here, I'm going to add a little cheese to it. So here's the fun part about this dish. You can use a great Italian sausage, a great chorizo, a great andouille. Ground beef works well too.
So basically with whatever you got in the freezer, maybe?
Absolutely. That's exactly what this is great for. So I'm going to add a little Parmesan cheese here. This is just grated Parmesan. Pour that right in there. I like feta cheese in this a lot too. I think feta is delicious in this dish.
Yeah, you brought some feta. We're using the Parm because that's what Jamie likes.
Yeah, that's our producer, Jamie. I said, we're gonna put feta cheese in it. She goes, oh God, no. And she literally put her mask on and ran out of the office. I don't know, I haven't even seen her since, have we?
So I mean, again, it's kind of like you can make this sort of up as you go.
The fun part about food is that I don't believe that there's a right and wrong, right? If you think it's good, if it's delicious to you, then go for it. Don't be afraid of it. That's one of my big things when it comes to cooking. And homemade food, it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, it should be pretty good. And I try to preach that all the time on Seasoned on WNPR.
I was just going to say, so you've got a new episode coming out about tomatoes. We were just talking about how tomatoes are so delicious.
Unbelievable. I'm at a tomato farm. I hang out, learn all the stuff about tomatoes. We have a wonderful tomato expert who's like a food GMO guy. talking about tomatoes because tomatoes are one of the most GMO things on the planet, genetically modified. And then we talked to a bunch of chefs about tomato recipes. It's really fun.
So cool.
Okay, so here's some of our squash we've already got done. So I got a spoon there. I want you to take your spoon.
Okay. This like slotted one?
Yeah, and we're just gonna take out the inside. Just take out the seeds right here. Yep. Just take these seeds out just like this. And we'll put them right in that bowl, that's fine. And then we'll take one more here. I'll grab this guy. We're racing now.
Oh boy.
So take these seeds out, and you can leave the seeds in too, but we want a little vessel to put the our stuffing mixture into. So what I've got here is this big baking dish. I've got the oven set to 350, and we're gonna take this and put it right into our squash like so. And then here, I'll take these guys from you too. There we go. Stuff them in here just like this. And then what we'll do is we'll get all these full of this chicken mixture. And again, you can use sausage, you can use ground beef, you can use ground lamb if you wanted to.
This would be really great to like kind of use up what you've got in the fridge.
Absolutely.
But then also you're using the fresh veggies from the garden.
Right. And then we take it and I'll put a little cheese on it like this.
Yep.
And then you can take these guys and put them in the oven if you want, but sometimes just like this is fine. You don't need to melt this cheese, but you totally could.
Everything's cooked at this point.
Absolutely. So then what we'll do is we'll take these guys out, and what a great little appetizer here. I'll show you guys up close here in a second.
I was gonna say, this could be, I mean, like if you eat all of that, that's a good meal.
Yeah.
With, you know, like something else, or you could eat that as an appetizer, like you just said.
But look at that. Look how delicious that looks.
Here, can I smell it at home?
Smell-o-vision,
Yeah.
right? Smell-o-vision. I'm gonna take a bite of it, so you're gonna have to keep talking, okay?
Okay, yeah, you
Let me
go
see.
for it. You describe to us how it tastes.
That chicken comes out super savory. The squash still has a crunch to it, and that cheese.
Well, because you
next level.
parboiled it, right? It's not like totally gonna be, because you know when squash gets overcooked, it gets kind of mushy.
Absolutely. Not mushy, keeping that crunch. The flavor comes out. This is delicious. You asked me to talk after I took a bite.
Well.
That's kind of the whole point for you to talk to me, not to bite.
But seriously, so people can try this at home. Just like grab the squash out of your garden and then go to town.
Go to town.
Yeah.
Stuff them. It's delicious.
Sounds awesome. All right, so we're gonna eat some of that.